Hi everyone, it's Eva here again. Thank you for joining me. I run the after school program at John A. McDougall School, as many of you know, and I am doing a video here on the BGCBigs YouTube channel every week featuring some arts and crafts. So for those of you who joined last week or for the last video, we did some paper mache, and I promised I would show you my finished gnome that I created, which I will do now. There he is. So beautiful. This guy is lavender colored because I'm going to put him in my garden near the lavender when spring comes one day. And I also painted him with some acrylic paint, and then afterwards I actually just outlined some details with Sharpie. And that's just to give him a little more character. So you can see, it's adorable, right? So you'll also notice he has a hat. And when I made this guy last time, he did not have a hat in the structure. So I did actually build a hat out of cardboard because I realized that gnomes need a hat, at least in my opinion. So add the hat, built up all the layers with that paper mache method, and then painted him. So I would love it if you guys could send me pictures of any of the paper mache creatures that you made, and I can share them on this video page. So today we are actually going to be doing watercolor pencils, or creating images using watercolor pencils. So watercolor pencils, they're a little bit different than just pencil crayons. They're actually called watercolor pencils. So don't just use regular pencil crayons. That might seem obvious, but it's not to everyone. These I actually got from the dollar store, so you can get them relatively cheap. I also have some fancier ones that I got as a gift from an art store. And so there's lots of different ones you can get out there. And I'm going to use a little bit of both of them today. And I also thought that I would do something or create an image of something that I really enjoy, which I suggest that you do as well. So for those of you who know me really well, you know that I love gardening. And I already actually planted all of my little seeds, well, not all of them, but some of my little seeds for my garden, which will hopefully be able to be planted in about a month or two. And the first seed to come up is my little sunflower. So cute. And sunflowers are my favorite flower, so I thought I should definitely do a picture today featuring sunflowers. You can even see the little sunflower seed. It's pretty cool. So I am going to paint some sunflowers, but this is not enough inspiration, or rather it's enough inspiration, but I need more of a visual to look at. So what I grabbed is I have this adorable garden book that I got as a birthday gift from my lovely sister, and it has some beautiful images. So I found this image of sunflowers that I am going to use to kind of, you know, be my inspiration for my painting today. So if you have some books in your house, it's a great, or magazines, those can be great tools if you want something to look at while you're creating your image. Because I don't know about you, but sometimes when I look at a blank piece of paper, I can just also feel blank. So it's really great to have some kind of inspiration. So, you know, if you have plants in your house, drawing something from life can be a really good way to do it. But if you don't have a lot around that's inspiring, lots in books, well, books with pictures, ideally, but also the internet is another great resource where you can look up like any animal that you love. And if you want to, you know, put that as your image, that is a great place to find cool stuff. So once you've kind of figured out what you want to paint, what's your inspiration, you will then want to lay that down on some watercolor paper. So I have this kind of watercolor paper. You can get watercolor paper from most art stores, but you can also find it at the dollar store. I've seen it there. So if you just want to get some less expensive kind, that's where I found some. And then again, you're gonna need watercolor pencil crayons. I'm ready. You're gonna need some water, and you're gonna need some paintbrushes. You don't necessarily need this many, but it is nice to have a bigger one and a tiny one, and maybe just for fun, medium size. So having an assortment of sizes is just really gonna help you when you're painting your image. So those are the things you're gonna want for this activity. And the first thing you're gonna do, and I actually did this before I started this video, is to take your inspiration image or whatever it is, and you're going to want to sketch it out on your watercolor paper. So I have done that, and you'll notice that I have actually sketched it out very lightly. This is very important. If you lay down your image with a pencil and it's done really dark, the problem is when you go in to color it with your watercolor pencils, when you add the water, it might smear in that charcoal and you're not going to get the vibrant colors you're looking for. So make sure you do this really light, really draw lightly. And once you have laid down your image and you're like, I love it, you know, it's good, you are going to then want to start coloring with your watercolor pencil crayons. So what I'm going to do today is I'm actually going to pick a color from my inspiration image, and this time I am going to start with the petals. So the petals have sort of this red-orange center, which is really beautiful, and the yellow tips. Sunflowers are full of lots of colors. They're not just yellow and brown. So looking carefully at your image will show you what colors are involved. Even the leaves, yes, they're green, but there's light green and dark green in there. So really pay attention to all the tones and different types of colors in your image, because it's going to make your picture just more rich and vibrant. So I'm going to start with just the leaves. I'm going to go in, I'm going to color all the leaves first, and I'm going to actually start down here with the red. I'm going to add a yellow tip, and I might leave a little bit between so that when I add water, it'll sort of blend together and create a beautiful effect. So I'm going to go in, I'm going to color all of that, and then I'm going to go in and color the other types of colors. So I'm going to do that right now. So what I've done is I've just colored sort of the petals of two of my sunflowers, and for the next part I'm going to show you how you can add the water in to sort of blend those two sections together. After you've done that, generally speaking you might actually want to wait till you've done all your petals, but for today I'm just going to do these two sunflowers to start because it takes a while to color. But make sure you start with your lighter colors, because it's easier to sort of do your light colors and then bring in the shadows, as opposed to trying to bring a light color on top of a dark color. That's really more difficult. So start with your light colors first, and then you go in and do your browns and that. So I'm going to show you now how to add the water. So what you're going to do is you're going to take some water on your brush, tap it off, you don't want too much, and you're going to start to blend those colors together. And as you can see, it just creates a really nice watery effect. Now I'm finding that I've chosen a brush that might be a little too big, so I might go ahead and add or grab a smaller brush. As you can see, it's sort of blending my sunflower, making it just a little bit more smooth. Kind of the beautiful effect of watercolor pencil. And depending on which direction you go, if I bring the yellow this way, it'll keep the yellow more vibrant. And you'll notice I'm kind of dipping in the water between to sort of clean my brush. But if I bring the orange this way, it'll actually bring the orange into the yellow. And you won't have as much yellow on the tip, so it depends what you are looking for. Again, I'm going to clean my brush, so then when I go back down to this yellow, so what I've done is I've added the water, and I'm going to just very gently bring this up because it can drip if I hold it up this way. As you can see, it's made it much more watery, water effect. And what I'm going to do next is I am going to add in the brown in the middle. Now what's nice about watercolor pencils as opposed to just watercolor paints is something like the middle of a sunflower where there's lots of little seed details. I can actually leave those little details from the drawing and not smear them all away, and that'll make it look a little bit more realistic maybe. So that's what I'm going to do next. Now make sure before you go in to do your darker colors that you actually let it dry so that when you bring in your brown, let's say, it's not going to get all smeared. So just make sure you give it a minute. Alright, so what I've done is I've added in the brown centers to my sunflowers, and that's kind of what it looks like, as you've seen. And now I'm going to add a little bit of water. You'll notice when I was painting that parts of it got a little wet, and those parts actually already smeared. So, sorry, I'm just going to hold it in a way that doesn't drip. So that is a way you can actually draw with the pencil in the water if you like that. But if you want more control, then you'll add your water after. So now I'm going to just quickly do that. Right, so there's the beginning of my painting. That is sort of how as far as I'm going to get today. I will finish this up and I will show you the finished results next time. But I hope you guys enjoyed this tutorial and learned a little bit about how you can use your watercolor pencils. And thanks so much for joining today, and I hope to see you guys next time.